Oi, Brasil! Já pensou você um dia acordar e descobrir que você é um personagem de um videogame? Pois é, essa é a história do Guy, o personagem de Ryan Reynolds, no filme Free Guy, Assumindo Controle. Pois é, vou bater um papo agora com Ryan Reynolds sobre essa produção maravilhosa que vem por aí, estreia dia 19 de agosto nos cinemas, e vamos descobrir o que Ryan tem a dizer sobre Free Guy. Então é isso. Hey Ryan, como é que tá a Blake? Dá só uma olhada.
Guy, there is no easy way to say this. This world, it's a video game. You're not real.
Please stop my...
And the guy responsible for this world was going to destroy it.
You've met God?
Yes, he's an absolute troll.
Trolls exist.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well as I can be. Like with the pandemic in Brazil, it's really terrifying at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Last time I talked to you, you're talking to me about an action movie, and now you have this super fun movie. And I want to know how you pick your roles.
Usually it's some kind of acknowledgement of where we are in the world, or I don't know. I felt like to me, it just felt like it's a movie I wanted to see. I wanted to experience a feeling of sitting in a cinema and walking out of the cinema with a big smile on my face. And I was also ready to be a part of a movie that was an original story that wasn't, based on any kind of existing IPs or pre-existing, graphic novels or comic books or any of that kind of stuff. I was just excited to be a part of a movie that, the kind of movies that I got to see when I was a kid, Back to the Futures and Indiana Jones and things like that, where I was just transported and taken away to the land of wish fulfillment. I wanted to be involved in something like that. And this was a unique opportunity to achieve that.
And even though it's like a very funny movie, it also got me thinking, like, are we really talking right now? Is everything actually happening? Are you scared of like this all technological advance?
Yeah, I mean, AI is a slightly frightening concept, I think, and it's also very real. So, to a certain degree, that stuff sort of freaks me out. But I also see how it's can help us as well in certain ways. But yeah, it's I think everything in moderation, so to speak. I mean, yes, if everything's just a little bit measured, life maybe might be a little bit easier.
Yeah, the movie teaches that sometimes we shouldn't settle for the role we are given. Have you ever experienced anything similar to that? Any situation on your life, wanting to subvert something on real life?
Yes and no. I mean, I've always had the lowest possible expectations for myself. So it's sort of like the opposite. I mean, I've always been like really grateful. Like just to work in my industry, let alone star in movies, is just, sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I'll just kind of pinch myself. Like, is this happening? Am I sure I'm not in some sort of weird simulation or something? Because, I when I started out, I always just, my highest hope was to just get a job in show business, let alone work consistently was never a realistic option. But, so I've always been very grateful for where I am at and being able to work in this business. And that's actually kind of its own superpower, so to speak. I know it sounds sort of weird and corny, but it really does feel like a bit of a superpower to have that.
It's not corny at all. Gratitude is always good. With so many beloved movies mixing real world and virtual realities, how did you bring something fresh to the table with Free Guy?
I don't have I have a lot of experience playing heroes that are sort of cynical or anti-heroes. It's kind of new for me to play a guy that's sort of a hero. He's not even a reluctant hero. He's something of an idealist. He's a guy that sort of views the world through an incredibly optimistic lens. He's a guy that, spends his days being, humiliated, shot, stabbed, robbed, used for other people's kind of enjoyment. And still kind of sees the world as a beautiful, optimistic place. So that I think is unique to heroes in this era, like in 2021. I feel like you're starting to see a few more heroes that sort of have that worldview. So that was new for me, and that was that was again like kind of an antidote to the culture that we live in, of this like doom and gloom. The last many years, it's been really hard for a lot of people, and I wanted to be wanted to make a movie that sparked joy, that really did speak to a joyful existence and felt like something that you could walk out of the theater with and really be sort of walking on sunshine, so to speak.
Yeah, you achieved that. But besides Guy, you also play Dude, who is a very quirky, super muscular character. And he has this hilarious catchphrase. How did you come up to that?
That was just, pure fun. I mean, I honestly, it was an idea that I had early on before we started shooting. And I just needed someone for Guy, my character of Guy, to fight, we needed to see some physical manifestation of that. And it's not like I was going to fight just gamers, because it didn't seem fun. And my main rival in the movie was Taika Waititi, but his character lives in the real world. So I needed to find somebody that Guy could go up against. And I had this thought that what if they sent in an upgraded version of me? They sent in a version that, has 350 pounds of muscle, a perfect tan, beautiful white teeth and this, crazy hair that is, that is frosted tips, so to speak. So, and I thought it was just kind of fun that his brain was sort of half baked. So, that's where the catchphrase stuff comes from. And that's where he sort of he's not finished, his coding isn't finished. So I thought it was a fun villain to have in the third act of the movie.
Did you get to improvise a lot in this movie?
Yes and no. I mean, people sort of falsely assume that I started in improv. So I do a lot of that, but I don't do as much of it as people think. I actually write a lot. I'll write 10 different jokes for one moment, or I'll, so when I'm on set, other actors are oh, he's improvising, but I'm actually remembering lines I've written in advance, which is kind of a self-defense mechanism. It's just sort of, I didn't set out to become a writer in this business, but it always sort of kept me alive. I would sign on to movies back in my 20s that weren't great necessarily, and I would have to kind of write my way out of trouble. And that was sort of how I started writing. So
I saw an interview today that you said that Blake helped you writing some lines from Deadpool. Did she help you this time again?
Always, I think it's funny. I'll talk about Blake, and her kind of creative prowess and how it's a big part of a lot of things that I do. And, most people kind of dismiss it as chivalry or something. And that's sort of dangerous, because it's actually not that at all. She's been responsible for some huge moments and huge, lines that I've had in different, films, not the least of which Deadpool. And she's, she really has an amazing voice in that way, a behind the scenes voice, as well as somebody who's got quite a presence on screen as well.
And now you made her Instagram official. I love that. I love that moment.
Hey, she's been asking me for years.
I want to know, are you guys watching Gossip during free time, the new version?
I'll tell you something, Bruno. We're not watching anything with 3 kids, 6 and under. We're watching Paw Patrol, and we're watching My Little Pony. That's what we're watching.
That's good enough. Ryan, thank you for talking to me. Hope you have a lovely time over there, and I hope to see you again soon.
Me too. So stay safe out there, Bruno. Thank you so much for the interview.
Pois é, esse foi o meu papo com Ryan Reynolds, lembrando que Free Guy, Assumindo Controle, estreia nos cinemas no dia 19 de agosto. Eu já assisti o filme e eu recomendo, vocês vão dar várias risadas. É isso, beijos pra vocês, beijo Ryan, beijo Blake, beijo pros filhos dele. Gente, em breve eu vou aí visitar vocês, tá bom? Pode deixar, eu vou aí levar uma comidinha, a gente assiste Gossip Girl junto, tá? Já que vocês estão sem tempo. Não deixe de assinar o canal, de você se inscrever no canal, de você ativar o sininho, dar seu comentário, compartilhar a entrevista, se você tá vendo no YouTube. E se tá vendo no IGTV, faz a mesma coisa, comenta e compartilha. Beijo pra vocês, até a próxima! Vamos ser free guys. Será que a gente tá vivendo dentro de um videogame? Gente, cadê o Yoshi?
That actually hurt my hand. We can save our world, but we have to fight together. I don't know what's happening right now, but I love it. Time's up, bank teller. Nope.